on the focus area that we have for this panel, which is India's limitless strides, India's limitless ambition when it comes to space. And look at these two ladies, Kajal Rajbhar from Spantrik and Umamaheswari from Agnikul. Now, look at this. We are talking about space. We are talking about rocket launches. And you know, if you don't understand something, typically you say, oh, is this rocket science? And we have these two ladies sitting with me, and we are going to have a conversation on rocket science. My only request to my guests would be that don't make it a little complicated, because you are rocket scientists, the audience is not, right?
So
let's begin.
Yeah, sure.
Kajal, you first.
So basically, we always thought that space is something always been in debated. Whether we are going to space, how it's actually impacting the earth, like whether we actually want to go to space or not. So I always say is whenever any humanity venture in the space, they have always been being a valuable and for the earth, not only for the space. Like whenever the scientists making any kind of experiments for the space, actually it's directly have impact on the earth itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Uma, let's understand. You are with Agnikul, and I believe they are the first private sector company which has made a 3D printed engine for rockets, and you are soon going to launch.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so actually Agnikul, first of all, thank you so much for having us here. Agnikul started with the vision of making launch easier, actually launch or space access easier, I would say. And with the motto of being able to launch from anywhere, anytime and affordably. So on the affordability part, like if we have to make launches affordably, we have to come up with some technologies that would help us cut the cost, help us develop the launch vehicle itself or any component for the vehicle faster, as well as in a cheaper rate. So that's where 3D printing came into Agnikul. That's one reason why 3D printing came into Agnikul.
Okay.
And
so
one more thing.
Let's have a general conversation first before we go into technicalities, if at all. So generally we think that satellites, it's a big thing, rockets, huge thing. So the governments get involved. India has ISRO, and they have done, say, about 100 rocket launches and satellites in space. America has NASA, Europe has ESA, and it's their job to make rockets, satellites, launch them. But now we are seeing private sector getting into it. But interesting in the case of India is that we have about 24 odd space startups, and they are all started, owned by youngsters like these. You know, Kajal, tell us your story of this enterprise. I mean, how did you think of having a rocket launch company, rocket making company?
So actually, first of all, it started me being a curious kid when I was a kid. So whenever I see any images, basically I always say thanks for the media, print media basically, because we have the newspaper at that time when I was in my school times. So whenever I see any images of space like nebulas or stars formations or any kind of, so I always thought I always wanted to take these space pictures or from my own camera. So from that, it happened ki I really want to make my own rocket, put my own camera and take those pictures. So whenever I grow up, I never thought it might be, I will be so serious about this ki when I was in my 10th standard, my dad asked ki, Kajal, what do you actually want to do? Because at 10th we have to take any stream. So I told my dad directly, I want to make my own space company. So, and then maybe he's not that serious about it. And then he said, okay, if you study well, then you might make it. And then again, when I was in my graduation time, then again he asked me the same question. Now, what do you actually want to do? I was still stuck to that point, ki I really want to make it now. And you're going to help me in this thing. And then when I was pursuing my master's in astrophysics at that time in 2019, so people actually asking from me, because I was still serious, then say Kajal is not actually, allowed in India to make your own rockets.
Right.
And it's not possible to make. But I was like, why it's not actually possible back in 2019.
Right.
So, but if I remember, in year 2021, the India become privatization. The in-space happened at that time. And I got an inaugural from that in-space when it's actually happened.
Okay.
So from that time, in next year, I just registered my company, and
Right.
from that, it started.
Okay, when we say future is space and private sector is getting into it, India has about 100 satellites up in space, almost all of them launched by ISRO or government satellites. China has about 600-700, United States has about 1,000. Just imagine one private company, friends, in the United States, owned by Elon Musk, SpaceX. Can you guess how many satellites it has in space? I told you India has 100, China has about 700, United States, Sarkari satellites about 1,000. How many, can you guess, Elon Musk's SpaceX has up in air? How many satellites? Students there, can somebody guess? Very close. 7,000 satellites Elon Musk's SpaceX has in space. So, I mean, space is the limit, as they say.
Exactly.
So, what is your ambition, Uma, you think, at Agnikul? You're launching your satellite perhaps next year. And we already have some companies in the private sector that have already launched a couple of satellites,
Exactly.
but maybe in beta mode, as they say. But by when should you think you too, one by one, tell us, be able to launch your own satellites using your rockets? Uma.
Yeah, so we have recently we are working on an orbital mission. We are planning to launch one by this end of this year, 2025, and a tech demonstrator mission, which was a second stage, a derivative of our orbital mission, was launched on May 30, 2024, where we validated the performance of the hardware that we had already developed for the vehicle. And as a bigger plan, Agnikul wants to make mobile launch pads, which would help us to launch from anywhere, launch on demand. Based
Really?
on the customer needs, we would be able to customize the vehicle, the launch vehicle itself, based on what...
When you say anywhere, like, can we launch it from Connaught Place, like that?
Anywhere where we will be able to set up and get launch authorization.
Yeah, of course, with permission.
With permissions
You can
and-
launch rockets and satellites from anywhere.
Anyway, we would be able to carry the vehicle mobile, launch vehicle would be mobile, plus the launch pad would be mobile. We would
Isn't it fantastic listening to a girl talking about launching satellites and rockets from anywhere and having the design and engineering capability to be doing that? That's limitless India, you know. And okay, let's take this forward. Just to make an announcement, we already have Honourable Minister Hardeep Puri and very soon Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma reaching. Mr. Puri is already here. We would be starting those sessions immediately after this, so just be here and coming back to the conversation. So, Kajal, tell us, what's your ambition in terms of space travel? So because you said you dreamt of it and that's how you launched your company, startup.
Yeah.
Like, are you planning to go to Mars? Or
Yeah,
being a
definitely.
woman, you want to go to Venus?
Yeah, definitely, because Spantric, we always take it as a mission. As I always say, we really want to make this space flight as routinely accessible and affordable as what we see the air travel today. So Spantric's ultimate vision, we really want to make the human as an interplanetary species, not only remain on the Earth, but I always see the humans can be on the Mars too. And you know, the Gaganyaan mission has already started, so we'll very soon see our own Indian citizens on the moon, and definitely in the next 2 decades maybe on the Mars, as like what our Prime Minister's vision of 2047. Like humans on the moon. So definitely afterwards, the human will be on the Mars too from Spantric.
Acha, tell us some practical stuff. So, like, if I go to Agra, I know how I can travel. You know, I can take a Shatabdi, I can go by road, I know how much I'll spend. When you say space travel, let's just say space flight. I read somewhere as of now, if you want to take a space flight on Virgin Galactic or Blue Origin, Blue Origin. Blue Origin, yeah, of Jeff Bezos, I believe. You spend something like 2 to 4 crore rupees just for a low orbit joyride up in space and come back.
Even more than that. Like.
Even more than that.
Exactly.
So when you say you want to make it affordable, how affordable you want to make it?
So
like, can I go for my joyride? People sitting here, can they fantasize having a joyride up in space for their birthday parties? Many in Gujarat would want to do that. So how much would it cost?
So right now, what we are planning, we will be definitely delivering the cost as much like if we see SpaceX, that's the cheapest one, and that's why, like as I say, the affordable one also, because that's why even in today's time, the most of the Indian satellites companies are also going to SpaceX for launching their satellites. So right now, the cost what we are offering like $8,000 like per kg. So that's the most affordable.
$3,000.
$8,000.
8,000.
Yeah.
That's very expensive.
That's the cheapest or the affordable one.
As of now.
Yeah, as of now, yes.
But in future, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line.
Because at that time when we have the more rockets coming on its way, because right now only in India, like we have only some few launch vehicles, but by that time even some more countries will be also, then definitely as when we see so many countries are coming into the space sectors, the space is the ultimate final frontiers for them. So the cost ultimately come down and it will be like as I say, the affordable as what we say the air travel today. So definitely we'll try to make that as affordable as much like air travel.
Right. Fair enough. So I can see a lot of students sitting there, and just for their benefit, when we say, rocket science, there is an element of bit of an intimidation. Uma, you are an engineer, you're director of engineering of your company. What would you tell the youngsters? What they should be preparing for if they have ambitions to make a career in space sciences?
Two things I would like to say. One is for people who choose career in aerospace or in aeronautics, usually people tell that it is hard to make a career itself. So with time, people drift from what they actually want to. So they will start with a vision and then they usually drift away from what they hear from other people. So one suggestion would be to have the vision right and then work focused on that. The other one is there are a lot of opportunities today given, she also mentioned the startup in space. With that, there's a lot of startups that is working on the aerospace industry today. So there's a lot of opportunities. So I would suggest people to look out for the opportunities. It involves some effort. It is not like we will look for it and we will get it immediately. So we have to put in effort to look for opportunities outside. So patience and effort is what I would suggest.
Right. Okay. I believe Mr. Puri is all set to come here. And a last question to you, Kajal. One aspect is science, and the other aspect is enterprise. For example, Jack Ma, who recently came back, reappeared on the scene. He was an English teacher, but then he became a techpreneur because, and all his enterprise is on the tech side. SaaS essentially, but even AI now. So what it takes as a youngster in your 20s, tell us what it takes to connect the vision with the energy and ambition to get into a sector as niche as a space.
We know it very well, the space is very challenging. It's not as easy as like the other fields as we say. But like what I have learned being as an entrepreneur, I am basically not from the aerospace but I'm from physics sides. So I always said कि physics, like a person who can be in any field, whether today we see that Shri Ravi Shankar ji, so he is also from the physics side, and that's what I I'm amazed कि also the physics people can be the spiritual global leaders too. But as I have learned three things, like whenever you want to go in any field, it's not about the space, it's about like the vision, like how far you can go from where you are right now. And second day, you have to prepare yourself, like the preparation. The first day is the vision is very important. The second day, go for the preparations. Because in the entrepreneur, like in any field, like we have to get ready for because we are going to fail every day and we are going to succeed every day. Like it's like 90-10%, maybe 50-50%. So every day we have to ready for this. And the third day is the education day. You have to educate yourself, like on your ideas, because everything looks so great on the PPTs, but unless and until you make it reality, the people not going to believe you. So that's actually important. So that's the three things.
All right. Kajal, I have been just indicated that the minister has arrived. In fact, he's coming into the hall, so we have to sort of end the session. Rini, can you come in and take over? Thank you so much, Uma, and thank you so much, Kajal.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a louder.
QS&THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
जिस दशक में हम अभी हैं, मैं समझता हूं वो आजाद भारत का अब तक का सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट डेकेड है, और इसलिए ही यही समय है, सही समय है। अगले डेकेड में भारत जिस ऊंचाई पर होगा वो अभूतपूर्व होगी, अकल्पनीय होगी।
Hello everyone, how you doing? Namaskar, I'm Ricky Cage and I'm super excited that on the 6th of March, I'm going to be at the Republic Plenary Summit. It's going to be absolutely awesome and it's...
Let me start, in the interest of full disclosure, to share with you why I am here. A simple starting point is that Arnab is a friend and Republic is a highly respected media platform. But I don't think that would complete the story. I'm here because of all of you. On my way into this beautiful conference setting, I asked one of the organizers, I said, what is the average age of the people, youngsters gathered here? And he gave me a figure. And I thought to myself that if there is any segment of our society that will truly be a beneficiary of Viksit Bharat, it is you guys. if the average age here today is, say, 2022, I mean, literally the weighted average, then we are in 2025, and clearly, in 22 years, you will be in the prime of your life, but more important than that, you would have shaped the journey to a Viksit Bharat from today onwards to a $40 trillion economy. But more than that, you would have shaped the contours of that journey. You will be the beneficiaries of that journey, but you are also going to be the agents of that change. So 3 concepts came to my mind, and I think I'll start by sharing them with you. One, and I say this unapologetically, you are fortunate to have been born in today's India. Today's India, which is happily reclaiming its past. So I will start by saying reclamation. My second submission to you is affirmation. Today, no matter which part of the world you live in, or what educational pursuit you are undertaking, or what professional pursuit you are undertaking, India looms large on the global horizon. And that is true whether you are discussing energy, with which I am primarily associated, or you are in technology. The transformation that is taking place in the world, India is part of that. So I say reclamation, affirmation, but the most important is the final one, which is creation. You are the guys who are the agents. You are the agency for that change. And if I come to my current job, if I may call it that, which is Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, my friend introduced me also as Housing and Urban Affairs. I did that for 7 years. I was also Minister for Civil Aviation for 2 years during the pandemic. We managed to get Air India privatized during that. I was also Minister for Commerce and Industry, which is a job I'd rather leave to my colleague Piyush ji just now with what's going on in the world. What is the current change that we are witnessing? I'm a student of history, so I always turn around and say, anything that you discuss has to be in the context of continuity, which is continuity of current policies and the change. But I make this submission to you before I go on to the hardcore subject, is that no matter which way you look at it, the change that is taking place today is revolutionary. It's not evolutionary or slow continuity giving rise to incremental change. It is revolutionary. Let me share some statistics with you. When Mr. Modi, the Honourable Prime Minister, assumed charge, India was perhaps the 10th or 11th largest economy in the world. In the 10 years plus that he has been Prime Minister, we've moved from there to the 5th situation. At the current rate, by next month or so, we should be the 4th largest economy, and within a year plus, the 3rd largest economy in the world, having moved on from 4 trillion to 7 trillion and then 10 trillion. But we must understand the context. Why did I talk about reclamation? It's so easy if you listen to a contrived Western narrative, and I choose to call it precisely that. They used to look down, India, the land of snake charmers, India where nothing works. Just remind them that 190 years before the colonial experience that we had, and I go back to the early 1700s, the contribution of the Indian economy to the global economy was about 25%. That is, India contributed 25% of the global GDP. Then came 190 years of colonial domination, and that dropped from 25% to 2% or even below. When Mr. Modi took over the government, people used to say India is part of the fragile five. Fragility being defined as, if you're traveling and you have a suitcase and it has marked fragile, handled with care, it might contain some stuff which is easily breakable. Today, you're talking about being a $40 trillion economy. Today, no one is questioning that you will be the third largest economy. I've never heard anybody question that. What they turn around and say, are you sure you will be a developed country by then? It's again that subjective, slightly condescending tone that comes in the Western narrative when the people shaping that narrative, when we became the fifth largest economy, we took over the UK. We surpassed the UK. So some of it is natural. I don't take it too seriously. India was the first country to meet the Paris Agreement commitments, achieving 9 years ahead of 2030 our Paris commitments. 9 years ahead. We all talk in terms of energy, traditional energy not being friendly because it's a fossil fuel, hydrocarbons, you need to move away. Yes, I think we do need to move away. And India is in the forefront of doing that. If you look at our achievements, we were doing biofuel blending up to 1.5% when Modi ji assumed the reins in 2014. We had a target of 10% by 2022 November. I had just become Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas in 21. And I used to be in doubt whether we'll be able to do it. No, we did it 5 months in advance. Then we had a target of 20% blending by 2026. We did that 6 years in advance. We've already almost reached 19.6 or 20%. Why are we able to do this? A, you have a government that is politically committed to the transition. A government which is putting in place an ecosystem which will enable that transition. And a government which is ensuring, as was the overall objective, that we will leave the planet better off than of the kind that we inherited. A transition by definition involves a journey. The journey being pure fossil fuels to pure green energy. That is what would be called total sustainability. And I want to share something with you, a statistic I'm very happy to quote very often. In 1956, a young economist in the oil major Shell said that oil would peak. By oil would peak means there would be no need for crude oil after that by the year 2000. Not only did he get his assessment wrong, but he got several other things wrong and created total chaos. Today, we are in 2025. We are set on the journey. Our biofuel targets have been achieved 6 years in advance. We are stepping on the gas, literally, pun intended, on compressed biogas. We are moving down green hydrogen. But if I were to ask any of you, and if you are professional economists, to make an assessment by when will oil peak, I don't think any of you would hazard a guess whether it will be by 2030 or 2040 or 2050. Because in order to make the transition meaningfully, you must also have green energy ready. Now I want to come to a few interesting statistics. What have we done and why do I think the youth, all of you, because the subject matter is really very, very interesting. It is innovation and ambition converge to shape a limitless India. What is the limitless India? One, clearly you can't have a limitless India only in terms of saying we are rich in resources. But I think if you have to look at that limitless India's true potential, it lies in all the kind of people who are gathered here. I also want to extend a very warm welcome to my colleague and dear friend, the Honourable Chief Minister of Assam. Give him a very warm hand. Coming back to my statistics, the country's bioeconomy has soared from $10 billion in 2014 to an unmatched $130 billion in 2024 by crossing 200 GW in clean energy capacity. Why do I think youth are the agency for change? Because whilst technological advancement, innovation will come, and it will come rapidly, in the struggle or in the quest for energy conservation, efficiency and sustainability, I don't think it's doable without the youth. People in my generation, we count ourselves very fortunate. We were a post-partition generation. When I came into the world after Delhi University, the number of jobs available, the number of economic opportunities available was just a handful. Today, we are in the happy situation where, thanks to sensible government policies, we have IITs have increased from 23, and the threefold rise in the All India Institutes of Medical Sciences, 7 in 2014, now we've got 3 times that number. Our educational landscape is ever growing, with a doubling of medical colleges in just 10 years, 780 versus 387 in 2014. The government has laid out an ecosystem along with the physical infrastructure for the youth to flourish. But let's make no mistake about this. Our developmental challenges are sui generis. They're one of a kind. Our strongest plus, or what I would call our strength, lies in the human resource, in what I said, the people who are gathered here. You are in the right age group. You've had the benefit of an education. The quality of that education is being improved. The skilling is being improved. But having said all that, it is one thing to be able to meet aspirations. When you are a $300 million economy, difficult. Today you are a $4 trillion economy, going on to 7, 10 trillion and 40 trillion, it will be much easier to meet those aspirations. But equally, when you meet your aspirations, both in terms of the jobs that you have, both in terms of the quality of contribution you can make, you will also realize that you will be shaping those contours. I want to share with you something about connectivity. It should be possible for a bright youngster in one of the northeastern states to come and carve out a living in one of the western states, or equally from somebody from rural Punjab to move to the northeast and seize the economic opportunity there. When I went to Advantage Assam recently in Guwahati, I've attended a lot of platforms. We ourselves hosted a very successful India Energy Week, the 3rd edition. It's already the 2nd largest platform. But what these platforms succeed in doing is to provide on a pan-India basis opportunities which cover normal economic activities, breakthrough, innovation, entrepreneurial streaks for our youth to be able to imbibe, and across the country and for visitors. Connectivity is absolutely paramount. In 2014, we had 74 airports. Today, we have more than 155 airports. Our civil aviation is growing from leaps and bounds. I believe you had the privilege of listening to Mr. Scindia this morning. One of the statistics I'm very fond of saying is that after Jewar Airport near Delhi is completed, India, Jewar and Delhi, Indira Gandhi International Airport, will provide 140 million passengers footfall, which is bigger than London, Heathrow, Gatwick and Stansted put together. So in other words, we are now looking at a situation where, I shouldn't say this, people may be sensitive, but I think the tipping point has come. You will get a reverse movement of people who went to the United States, Canada, certainly United Kingdom, who went there looking for economic opportunity. I think it's the opportunity here that beckons. Let me tell you something about a startup fund. My oil marketing companies, we're on just 5 or 6 of them, but they account for 19% of the country's revenue. They have a startup fund of 550 crores. And I had a meeting with them recently when I was in Assam. We went to a neighboring state. We had one of the brainstormings which we have every month. And And I told them I'd like to see this startup fund increase from 550 to 2,000 crores before long. And I didn't see any dissenting tone there. They are supporting 303 startups with something like 290 crores. But the real good news is that we have the third largest startup ecosystem in the world with more than 1.5 lakh startups and nearly 120 unicorns. You guys know what a unicorn is. For any country which can produce 120 unicorn, and that too also recently, that country has arrived. We have 1,700 global capability centers currently operating in India, employing more than 2 million highly skilled Indian professionals. I'd like to see that change a bit. I want the global capability centers, but I don't like a situation when we say 2 million highly skilled individuals. I want that skilled employment also to take place, because these global capability centers are working to assist the economic entities outside India. So we need to have a growth in the others as well. A report by NASSCOM said that Indian global capability centers set to touch $100 billion by 2030 and generate 2.5 million jobs. I'm going to conclude on one basic note to reiterate the three concepts I highlighted to begin with. Reclamation. You are very fortunate that you are living in a country which today is reclaiming its past with a great sense of confidence and pride. Affirmation that the Indian ecosystem today, the growth of the economy, the strength of resolve in the political leadership is all looking at providing Limitless India with a boost, and you guys are the center of it. You are the ones who will shape the journey from here to Viksit Bharat, because if your average age is 2022 now, you will be in the prime of your life and you will be in your mid-40s when Viksit Bharat arrived. And finally, in that quest for clean energy, which I am more directly dealing with now, you guys are the agency for that change in all respects, because I think you will do more for conservation, efficiency, and sustainability than any other segment of society. So it remains for me to thank you for giving me a patient hearing. God bless you. May you go from strength to strength. And I want to thank the Republic and my friend Arnab for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, sir, for that compelling vision and your unwavering commitment to building a self-reliant, future-ready Bharat. May I request Arnab Goswami to please come up and felicitate the Honourable Minister with a stole that we have for him. And as he does that, ladies and gentlemen, it also gives us an opportunity to welcome on stage the young hackathon winner who took part in the Limitless India Youth Hackathon partnered by Wildstone Code, Unleash Freshness. In the category of Grand Strategy and Geopolitics, we recognize Soham Agarwal for his groundbreaking proposal, which unravels a critical vulnerability, India's dependence on aging, foreign-owned repair fleets, leading to prolonged disruptions during undersea cable failures. Congratulations to Soham.
To secure India's
Thank you very much,
connection,
sir.
the Grand Plan dictates more self-reliance. Hidden under the sea is the backbone of the internet, vulnerable to all adversaries. To secure India's connection, the Grand Plan dictates more self-reliance.
Especially submarine communication cables, which carry over 95% of global communications, is a low-cost, high-impact and strategically advantageous endeavor. The objective is to develop an indigenous repair infrastructure within India to ensure national security.
Thinking beyond the depths of the ocean, Soham Agarwal presented a Quad Action Plan. A bold vision for a safer Indo-Pacific, a deeper connection for friends and allies.
And to my mind, this is by far the best entry. And I wish the Tata founders all the best and all success.
Congratulations to the Limitless champion.
irresistible force of a fearless, resurgent, and truly limitless India. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to invite on stage the Honourable Chief Minister of Assam, Shri Himanta Biswa Sarma.
Under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi,
বিহুৱা বিহুৱতীসকলৰ আমি প্ৰদৰ্শন চাইছিলোঁ।
Very much. Thank you, Arnav, for inviting me to this important summit. Always we came to Republic TV for debate, for exchange in conversation, which become highly volatile. But this is a completely different atmosphere. So I'll take some time to adjust to this new environment. Limitless India, I think I don't have to go to the definition, what we mean by limitless India. हमने अभी प्रधानमंत्री जी का एक छोटे से क्लिप देखे थे अभी, उन्होंने एक शब्द बोले थे असम को लेके कि असम का जो पोटेंशियल है उनका भी कोई लिमिट नहीं है, लिमिटलेस पोटेंशियल, वही सब अभी अभी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस्तेमाल किए थे. एंड लिमिटलेस इंडिया obviously synonymous with limitless potential of our country, be in every sphere. And in the morning we have heard Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, who has spoken about the limitless potential on infrastructural growth, new energy. We have seen, we have listened to Sri Hardeep Singh Puri, who has focused on hydrocarbon, who has focused on India's potential, the revolution of startup in our country. Of course, these are the shining parts or shining evolution of our country. I joined politics first as an activist, and then I graduated to become the chief minister of a state which belonged to the northeastern region. जब असम में एजिटेशन हुए थे in 1979, that point of time I was a student of class 6. हमारे शायद मैं क्लास 4 और 5 में मुझको मौका मिला था एक बार कलकत्ता आने का. जब असम एजिटेशन शुरू हुए, द एजिटेशन हुए बेसिकली इसलिए हुआ थे कि असम हैज सीन अनलिमिटेड illegal migration from a neighboring country, and we are losing our identity, we are losing our culture, and that's how a big agitation has taken place in Assam. आंदोलन नॉन वायलेंट थे, और असम में जितना बड़ा आंदोलन हुए, हमारे देश को स्वाधीनता आंदोलन का बाद ऐसा बड़ा डेमोक्रेटिक एजिटेशन किसी ने देखा भी नहीं था. We lost 882 people. We call them our proud martyr. जब एजिटेशन शुरू हुए और बढ़ते गए, उनका डेफिनेशन भी बदले. धीरे धीरे हमें लगे कि not only migration, illegal migration is happening to Assam, even we are also subject to gross neglect by the state or by the government of India. So एक बात आए कि हमारा पास विकास नहीं है, हमारे बॉर्डर सिक्योर नहीं है, और धीरे धीरे 1985 में we sign an accord. Accord was not implemented. धीरे धीरे वही democratic agitation has become a most violent agitation, जिसको हम अल्फा का जो रिवेलियन बोलिए, इंसर्जेंसी बोलिए, इसका नाम में we know it. Almost 22,000 people lost life in that period of time. जब अल्फा का मूवमेंट शुरू हुए, थोड़ा उसमें लोगों ने, हमारा ट्राइबल लोगों ने देखा कि इसमें थोड़ा सा आसामी सोविनिज्म का एलिमेंट्स है. एज ए काउंटर टू दैट, असम को डिवाइड करने के लिए We won डिवीजन ऑफ असम. तब तक 5 बार असम डिवाइड हो चुके थे, और एक बार डिवाइड करने के लिए ट्राइबल रिसर्जेंस, ट्राइबल इंसर्जेंसी भी शुरू हुए. कुल मिला के मेरा बचपन से आज तक, क्लास 4 और 5 से आज तक, एटलीस्ट 50,000 प्लस लोगों का यही थ्रू आउट द पीरियड हैज डाइड. They may be police, they may be army, they may be paramilitary, or they may be the young youths of Assam. और उसी समय एक डिबेट भी होते रहा कि हमारे जो विकास है, if it is concentrated to west and south, will India grow as a country? उसका साथ साथ हमारे इतिहास में we have witnessed 1962 Chinese aggression. कोई सारे चीज नॉर्थ ईस्ट में होते रहा. एक हमें हमेशा ये हमारा सपना रहा कि इंडिया शुड बी ए सुपर पावर, बट विल इंडिया सुपर पावर स्टेटस, कोई एक अगर विदेशी आए वेस्ट, गुजरात और तमिलनाडु में वो जाए, इसको लगे कि इंडिया इज एक्चुअली ए सुपर पावर, लेकिन उनको बंगाल से आगे जाए, दे विल सी ए डिफरेंट इंडिया. If India will become 2047 a global power, a developed economy, can it happen through the contribution of few states? ये डिबेट शुरू हुए. मैं कलकत्ता का बाद रेफरेंस दिए थे. वो समय the development of Calcutta and development of Guwahati, if I consider, that was 100:1. वहां में अगर 100 हो रहा था, यहां में 2 भी नहीं हो रहे थे. लोग बोलते कि इंडिया ग्लोबल पावर बनेगा, इंडिया सुपर पावर बनेगा, और बनेगा भी, बट विल दैट सुपर पावर इमेज ए टूरिस्ट और इन्वेस्टर विल सी अक्रॉस द इंडिया, और इंडिया में भी दो नेशन रहेगा, रिच पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया, पोर पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया, डेवलप पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया, बैकवर्ड पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया। ये डिबेट्स होते रहा, लेकिन हमारे जो सरकार रहे, आई डोंट वांट टू बी पॉलिटिकल, दे कीप ऑन एक्सटेंडिंग देयर इन्वेस्टमेंट इन साउथ एंड वेस्ट। जो भी इन्वेस्टर आते हैं उनको कर्नाटक लेके जाते थे, तमिलनाडु लेके जाते थे, गुजरात लेके जाते थे, आप इन्वेस्ट करो। धीरे धीरे हमारा देश में जो रीजनल इम्बैलेंसेस है ये बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ चुके। इफ यू टुडे लुक द जीडीपी ऑफ आवर कंट्री, इफ महाराष्ट्र हैज ए जीडीपी ऑफ 32 lakhs crore, there will be many states in India who will have GDP of 2 lakhs crore. But Soviet India hai, everybody paid the same level of income tax, everybody pays same level of GST. You have one nation, one tax, you have one nation, one grid, you have one nation, one army, everything is one. But you have one nation, one parliament. But when it comes to development, ये कभी लोगों ने ये ध्यान नहीं दिया कि हमारा भारत में ही, हमारा देश में ही दो टाइप का, टू टाइप्स का स्टेट्स और रीजन्स इज इमर्जिंग। कंपटीशन इज गुड कि लोग कंपीट कर रहे हैं, कंपटीशन कोई एक हो रहा है, कोई दो आ रहा है, कोई तीन हो रहा है। बट देयर वाज नो कंपटीशन, कंपटीशन अमंग अनइक्वल्स, देयर वो कंपटीशन नहीं बोला जाते हैं। देयर वॉज नो कंपटीशन। इफ यू आस्क स्टेट ऑफ मेघालय टू कम्पीट विथ स्टेट ऑफ तमिलनाडु, ये कोई कंपटीशन नहीं बोलते हैं। प्रोबेबली आई विल नॉट यूज द वर्ड जोक, बट इट इज ऑलमोस्ट ए जोक कि आप कंपीट करो। 2014 प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक शब्द बोलना शुरू किए कि हमारा देश में वेस्ट और साउथ का विकास होने से नहीं होगा। एवरी पार्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया हैज टू बी डेवलप्ड। इन माय व्यू दैट इज द बिगिनिंग ऑफ लिमिटलेस इंडिया। वहां से ही लिमिटलेस इंडिया का एक मूवमेंट शुरू हुए। स्टार्टअप आईआईटी मद्रास में होने से नहीं होगा। इट हैज टू बी इन आईआईएम शिलोंग, इट हैज टू बी इन आईआईटी गुवाहाटी। देश का जब सारे लोगों को ये एक महसूस होना शुरू होगा कि आई एम ऑल्सो दिस पार्ट ऑफ दिस कंट्री, आई एम ऑल्सो दिस पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया, everybody will start contributing. But otherwise, prior to 2014, contribution was limited from particular states. We are grateful to them कि आप लोगों ने इंडिया को आगे बढ़ाया। Nothing to feel jealous, nothing to feel कि हमने किया आपने नहीं किया, वो बात नहीं है। Every states का अपना अपना हिस्ट्री होते हैं। Let me talk about Assam. Digboy oil refinery was the oldest refinery in Asia. हमारे जिमखाना जोरहाट में गोल्फ कोर्स है, that is the oldest golf course in Asia. और जब ब्रिटिश इंडिया हुए करते थे, they put a railway track from Assam's Margherita to the Chittagong. This is the oldest railway track in our country, and our GDP was higher than country's GDP. Assam GDP was higher than country's GDP at the time of our independence. फिर क्या हुए? देश का पार्टीशन हुए, थैंक्स टू कांग्रेस पार्टी पार्टीशन हुए। जब देश का पार्टीशन हुए उस समय वी लॉस्ट आवर ट्रेड लिंक। बे ऑफ बंगाल से हमारा कनेक्टिविटी वी लॉस्ट। असम is now connected to rest of India only through a chicken neck, 22 kilometers of chicken neck. Instead of coming to mainland of India directly through the erstwhile Bangladesh, now we are coming to mainland of India through Calcutta. It is a journey which is minimum 30 hours, 28 hours, it will take more. 1950 का great earthquake हुए, we suffered a lot, nobody take cares of us. और जब हमारे प्रदेश का partition हुए, we have been thrown out of our capital, Assam को. हमारा शिलोंग capital हुआ करते थे. We have been asked to shift to the capital. We have asked to go out of the capital. 5 बार एक प्रदेश का division हुए. फिर long alpha movement, insurgency movement, nobody takes care. लोगों को लगे कि भाई development is coming from some parts of India. There is no need that there should be even development, there should be balanced development. जब एक बार ये डिस्कशन कहीं नहीं हुए कि हाउ वी कैन मेंटेन ए बैलेंस डेवलपमेंट, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पहले बोले, these are nice words, but these words create a new kind of confidence in Northeast. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सब शुरू किए कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट हमारा देश का अष्ट लक्ष्मी है. लक्ष्मी इज ऑलवेज कनेक्टेड विद वेल्थ. हमारा पास क्या वेल्थ है आई ऑल्सो डोंट नो एज ऑफ नाउ, बट प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बोलना शुरू किया कि ये हमारे अष्ट लक्ष्मी है. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बोले कि लुक ईस्ट नहीं हो सकता है, हम देख के क्या करूंगा, वी हैव टू हैव ए पॉलिसी ऑफ एक्ट ईस्ट. काम शुरू करो. रिजल्ट क्या हुए? पोस्ट 2014, the moment Prime Minister start concentrating on Northeast, हमारे suddenly जो हमारे रेलवे पटरी था मीटर गज से बॉड गज हो गया. बचपन में हम लोग जब ऑल असम स्टूडेंट्स यूनियन में मेमोरेंडम दिया करते थे कि असम में डबल ट्रैक होना चाहिए, दोज आर पार्ट ऑफ आवर ड्रीम. सडनली रेलवे का डबल ट्रैकिंग शुरू हुए, सडनली रेलवे का इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन हो गया, 4 लेन हाईवे, 6 लेन हाईवेज बनना शुरू हुए. एंड यू कैन इमेजिन, जो एक बार संसद में ये बात आए थे कि वी शुड नॉट डेवलप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अराउंड चाइना, टुडे प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज टेकन 2 national highway, 4 laning national highway to the Chinese border of Indo part of Chinese border, Indo-Chinese border. आर्मी का मूवमेंट फ्री हो गया. अभी बात हो रहा है कि वहां तक हम लोग रेलवे लाइन लेके जाऊंगा. इनलैंड वाटर का इंडिया बांग्लादेश प्रोटोकॉल रोड साइन हुए. ब्रह्मपुत्र बिकम अगेन ट्रेड रोड. देखते देखते गृह मंत्री जी ने ये अपने ऊपर लिया कि मैं असम को, नॉर्थ ईस्ट को हमें पीसफुल बनाना है. As many as 6 peace accord has been signed. 8,000 militants has surrendered. Things have changed. And Assam witnessed post 2014, throughout the decades, we are witnessing 12.5% growth in our GDP. It was 2%. It was simply 2% when I became minister in Assam in 2002, 2003. I was finance minister of Assam, looking after finance portfolio. That point of time, our growth was 2%. But last decade, we have seen 12.5% growth. And in 2023, we witnessed growth of 19%. Today, Assam growth is the highest among India if you go by the striking rate. We are growing at 12.5% in last decades. 2022-23 we growth at 19%. 23-24 we are growing at 13.5%, and this year we are projected to be grown at 15.3%. This is what our journey is. This should not have been possible unless a prime minister from West has recognized that Bharat ka development खाली वेस्ट और साउथ में ही सीमित नहीं हो सकता. इट मस्ट ट्रेवल थ्रू नॉर्थ इंडिया टू ईस्टर्न इंडिया, ईस्टर्न इंडिया टू नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया. नॉर्मली अगर मैं गुजरात से एमपी हूं, गुजरात से ही प्रधानमंत्री हूं, मेरे लिए साउथ एंड वेस्ट डेवलपमेंट इज ओके. बट इफ आई एम ए स्टेट्समैन, इफ आई एम ए चैंपियन ऑफ लिमिटलेस इंडिया, अगर मेरा सपना में by 2047 India should be a developed nation, then for that Prime Minister, development of every inch of Bharat is important. That is what Prime Minister has done for Assam. If you look at Assam's crime statistics, from 2021, the reduction is 66%. Last 7 years, we have not seen a single militant activities. There was no killing of army personnel and vice versa. There is no civilian killing, there is no army killing. And in fact, today democratic movement has also died down because a new movement for development has taken place in my state. जो हम बोलते हो कि विकास का आंदोलन, रास्ते का आंदोलन से ये विकास का मूवमेंट बने. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निर्णय लिया कि इफ इंडिया हैज टू बी ए सेमीकंडक्टर हब, देन इट हैज टू बी स्टार्ट फ्रॉम अष्टलक्ष्मी प्रदेश. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निर्णय लिया, टाटा ने डिसाइड किया कि हमारे असम में ही 27,000 करोड़ रुपया का लागत से भारत का पहले सेमीकंडक्टर औसत फैसिलिटी का शुरुआत होगी. काम भी शुरू हुए. By the end of this year, we will start producing 48 million ships per day. Ships will go to outside the country and will not be recognized. Assam's identity will not be recognized only with Assam tea. It will also be recognized as the semiconductor ships of India. हमारे प्रदेश में पहले प्रधानमंत्री जी का नेतृत्व में ग्रीन एनर्जी का काम हुए. नितिन गडकरी जी ने ग्रीन एनर्जी का बारे में बताया. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निर्णय लिया कि बैम्बू विल नॉट बी ए वुड, it will be considered as a grass, and first biorefinery which will produce ethanol from bamboo is being constructed in Assam, and we will start producing ethanol from bamboo from September this year. इस बजट में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने निर्णय लिया कि 12 लाख मेट्रिक टन का यूरिया फैक्ट्री भी असम में खोला जाएगा, so that we can export यूरिया to Myanmar, Bangladesh after we attaining self-sufficiency. किसलिए? Act East has to be Act East. And we are becoming a major economic power today. साथ साथ में you have noticed in that AV, 12,000 youth has demonstrated Bihu in one stadium. 12,000 लोगों ने बिहू डांस किया. हमारे यूथ ने ही अभी 25 फरवरी को 8,000 लोगों ने, 8,000 मेरा युवाओं ने एक साथ झूमर डांस का डेमोन्स्ट्रेट किया. धीरे धीरे हम सॉफ्ट पावर इन कल्चर वी आर इमर्जिंग, ए डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ कल्चर. हजारों लोग कैसे सेलिब्रेट करते हैं अपने कल्चर को, हमने इसको सिंबलाइज करना शुरू किए. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमारे जो लैंग्वेज है उनको क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज का मर्यादा दिया कि असमीज इज ए क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज. he has said it is ancient civilization. लैंग्वेज 1400 साल का पुराना है, उनका भी रिकॉग्नाइजेशन आए. और टुडे आई कैन इतना तो मैं बोल ही सकता हूं कि he has ensured a level playing field for us. यहां से आगे बढ़ना हमारा काम है. आज 10 साल में वो असम को इतना लेवल में आके खड़ा कर दिया कि नाउ यू कॉम्पीट विद द रेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया. मेरा बोलने का जो मकसद है, हमारे जो लिमिटलेस इंडिया है, it should include all the states, all the districts of India. It should not concentrate it in one part of India. Right from our captains of industry, सारे लोगों को प्रधानमंत्री जी का बात, प्रधानमंत्री जी को जो उन्होंने हमें दिखाया, if India is a manufacturing hub, it should spread it to all the regions. बहुत बड़ा potential emerge होगा. अगर today India is this with the contribution of south and western state, you can imagine a new India अगर बाकी 3 region भी एक ही जैसा contribute करना शुरू करें. If Bihar start contributing positively to the nation's GDP, if West Bengal, Assam start contributing positively to the nation's GDP, if state like UP start contributing equally with that of Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, ये भारत 2047 सन में नहीं, उसका बहुत पहले ही महाशक्ति बन जाएगा. We have to unleash the power of every Indian. Once we start movement in that way, I am just presented you a case study of Assam. Today Assam is a case study. Pradhan Mantri ji ne हमें साहस दिया, we can turn out to be a developed state now, and from here onwards we do not need a different kind of treatment. अभी एडवांटेज असम 2.5 हमारे 2.0 हुए थे. The primary theme of my speech was कि I don't want to be a dependent state from now onwards, I want to be a contributory state. अगर हर स्टेट भारत का विकास के लिए कंट्रीब्यूशन स्टार्ट करे, हमारा देश कैसे चमकना शुरू करेगा. Even if you see at the cricket ground, Dhoni has emerged from Ranchi. आप हमारे स्टार्टअप देखें, हो सकता है डेवलपमेंट इज टेकिंग प्लेस इन चेन्नई, बैंगलोर, but the startups are from different regions of India. गांव से आए हैं लोग. ओलंपिक ने जो प्राइज ले रहा है, they are not from the richest part of this country, they are coming from every parts of this country. एक बार हमें पूरा भारतवर्ष में if we unleash the hidden power जो छुपा हुआ है, उनको अगर अनलिस्ट करना हम शुरू कर देते हैं, if we address the question of regional imbalances. आज मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूं कि असम को कुछ चाहिए. I think now Assam will not ask for special treatment because I have completed that journey and with a proud Assamese I am speaking to you कि हमें आज level playing field हो गया हमारे लिए. PM has done enough for us, Government of India has done enough for us. यहाँ से हम will compete because now we can compete. But if you today ask many other states of India to compete with Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, probably that may not be the best things to do. In this platform, my humble request will be to the Indian industry, Indian academia, let us celebrate. भारत में बहुत कुछ हो रहा है, we should celebrate. But we should also try to see that our area of influence is extended. हर कोने में, हर गांव में ये movement expand हो. If you look at the some initiative of Prime Minister, लोग बोलते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग कभी कभी प्रधानमंत्री जी का जो भी काम कर रहे हैं उसमें क्वेश्चन भी उठाते हैं, लेकिन what PM has done, he created a model called saturation. भारत का हर गांव में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी होना चाहिए because that address the question of regional imbalance. हर गांव में सड़क होना चाहिए This is the model, this is the saturation model of Prime Minister who will further, this model will further boost our journey for 2047. और मेरा विश्वास है, the way today we are tackling, the way today we are dealing with the situation, जो हर गांव का पोटेंशियल को अनलॉक करने का बाद हुए, इससे will actually become a limitless India. किसी ने नहीं सोचे थे कि इन borders also talent lies. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बोले कि हमारे बॉर्डर को, you don't say they are the last village of our country. You tell them, you declare them, they are the first village of our country. These are the things we have never heard. I am now at 55. I never thought that Assam will see in our lifetime. Arnav is from Assam. I think today we can have a very clear confession कि हम जब असम से बाहर आए थे या असम का कॉलेज में जब पढ़ते थे, हम कभी नहीं सोचे थे कि असम में एक दिन भी पार हो सकता है without bomb blast and without firing. This what we have spent that time in Assam. हमने देखा और हमारे ये सपना में भी नहीं था कि that turn around is possible in our lifetime. But that has happened. ये सारे आप लुकिस मत बोलो, एक्टिस बोलो, लास्ट विलेज मत बोलो, फास्ट विलेज बोलो. You designate a region as your Oxta Lakshmi, encourage people. आप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पूरा जाल बैठा दो. Can you imagine today in the Northeast, Government of India is spending 1 lakh crore in only for the development of national highways. लोग जाते नहीं था टूरिज्म में. कोई we have कश्मीर, but हमारे पास कश्मीर का साथ अरुणाचल भी है. We have Nagaland, we have Meghalaya. इतना बड़ी खूबसूरत हमारा इलाका है. We never gone there because we don't have connectivity. हम जाएगा तो कैसे जाएगा? Today we have airports, 11 airports in Northeast. मेरा जो गुवाहाटी एयरपोर्ट अभी बन रहा है, which we are going to inaugurate in September, I can assure you that it will give a tough competition to Bangalore airport. It will give a tough competition. I will not say that we'll beat Bangalore, but Guwahati में लैंड करने का बाद आपको 1 मिनट के लिए समझना पड़ेगा whether you are landing in Guwahati or in Bangalore. Today, Guwahati airport is the 7th busiest airport in our country. But ये सब statistics हमें कभी सोचते भी नहीं था. It is आज भारत में 7 busiest airport क्या है, दिमाग में भी नहीं आएगा कि Guwahati can be figured out. 1 January, New York Times has published the article. New York Times has recommended 52 must-visit destinations of the entire globe, and Assam prominently figured in number 4. This is the article of New York Times. ये परिवर्तन हुए, change is taking place, and I want that change should happen in every parts of our country. It should go into the most remotest part. बहुत potential छुपा हुआ है.